Welcome to the Northumberland Players Outreach Programme presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It was recorded for 89.7 Truly Local Radio at the Northumberland Players Fire Hall Theatre.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hither, page, and stand by me, if thou know'st it telling, yonder peasant, who is he, where and what his dwelling? Say he lives a goodly Kent, underneath a mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes' fountain. Bring me flesh and bring me wine, bring me pine logs hither, thou and I shall see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and monarch forth they went together, through the rude wind's wild lament, and the bitter weather. Sigh, the night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger, ails my heart, I know not how, I can go no longer. Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread thou in them boldly, thou shalt find the winter's rage freeze thy bloodless coldly. In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted, heat was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore, Christian men, be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay, for Jesus Christ our Saviour was born upon this day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our Heavenly Father, a blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same, how that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. O tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. O tidings of comfort and joy.
Marley was dead, no doubt about it. Scrooge knew he was dead, but his name remained on the sign, Scrooge and Marley. The firm was known as Scrooge and Marley. People new to the business sometimes called him Scrooge, and sometimes they called him Marley. He answered to both names. It was all the same to him. Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, and his clerk, Bob Cratchit, worked in the outer office, trying to warm himself by the light of his candle. Scrooge could hear the people in the street outside, singing and calling to each other with Christmas cheer.
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Here, love, here's a penny.
Thank you.
It's for the orphans, sir.
You're a good lad.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Uncle, a Merry Christmas to you.
Humbug.
Christmas, a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right do you have to be merry? What reason do you have to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right do you have to be dismal? What right do you have to be miserable? You're rich enough.
Humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
Oh, what else can I be when I live in a world of fools? Merry Christmas, out upon Merry Christmas. What is it to the likes of you but a time of paying bills without money, eh? If I could have my way, every idiot who goes about saying Merry Christmas should be boiled in his own pudding, he should.
Uncle.
Ah, nephew. Keep Christmas in your own way if you must. Let me keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you. Much good has it ever done you.
Why, Uncle, Christmas is a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, happy time. The only time I know in a year when people open up their hearts and think of others. Yes, Uncle, though it has never put so much as a scrap of gold in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and I say God bless it.
Another sound from you, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Sir.
You're quite a powerful speaker, nephew. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. I came to ask you, come dine with us tomorrow.
Dine with you? Indeed not.
But why, Uncle, why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Good afternoon.
But, Uncle, you never came to see me before I was married. Why is that the reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
Why can't we be friends, Uncle? I don't want to quarrel with you. I have come to see you because it's Christmas, and I'll keep the Christmas spirit to the last. So, a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. Humbug, humbug, humbug.
Bob, how is Mrs. Cratchit and all the young Cratchits, all chomping at the bit for Christmas?
Yes, indeed, sir.
And the little lame boy, how is he?
We're in high hopes that he's getting better, sir.
Excellent. Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and to your family.
And to you, Mr. Fred. Thank you kindly, sir. And Merry Christmas.
Well, Cratchit, what are you standing there for?
Well, sir, my fire is almost out. I thought another bit of coal would keep it going.
Nonsense. Haven't I told you that I won't have you burning coal like it was free? Minute I turn my back.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Good evening, my good man. Is your employer in?
Sir, someone to see you.
What?
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley's been dead these 7 years. Died 7 years ago. This very night.
I have no doubt that his generosity will be well represented by his surviving partner. At this festive season, Mr. Scrooge, it is so important that we do our best to help the poor and needy. At this moment, sir, many are without food and shelter and are suffering greatly.
Well, are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons, too many, I fear.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. I wish I could say that they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are still in full vigour then?
Both very busy, I'm sad to say, sir.
I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. I'm very glad to hear it.
But, sir, these institutions do not provide any Christmas cheer or even basic kindness to the many who are forced to go there. A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We chose this time of year because it is the time, above all others, when people are in the greatest need and need our help. What should I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous.
I wish to be left alone. And since you asked me what I wish, that's my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there. Many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they had better do it and decrease this surplus population. Besides, that's not my business. It's enough for me to look after my own business, and I don't interfere in other people's. My business keeps me working constantly. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Once in royal David's city stood a lowly cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger
out, you scum! Ah, humbug.
Sir,
Well, out with it.
tomorrow's Christmas, sir.
You'll want the whole day off tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown of your pay, you'd think yourself badly done by, I'm sure.
Yes, sir, but it's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Well, I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you, sir. And a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, humbug! A clerk who earns 15 shillings a week with a wife and family. Merry Christmas indeed.
Father! Children, what a lovely surprise. And Tiny Tim, too.
He wanted to come too.
I hope the people see me, Father. It might be good for everyone to remember on Christmas Day who made the lame beggars walk and blind men see.
You are a hearty fellow.
Father, did you see the size of that turkey?
The one in the butcher's round the corner.
What other one is there?
He sure is huge.
I've never seen such a turkey.
It's bigger than Tiny Tim.
Come then, let's not keep Mother waiting.
Christmas is a-coming and the geese are getting fat. Please to put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, a halfpenny will do. If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God bless you.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to bed, where his housekeeper awaited him.
All right, that's enough, Mrs. Dilber.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Good evening, sir.
Evening, Mrs. Dilber.
I was going to make up the fire, sir, seeing as it's chilly.
Leave it. I'll be going to bed soon. It'd be a waste of coal.
Oh, I thought you might like a nice fire, seeing as it's Christmas.
Seeing as it's Christmas. Get along now, Mrs. Dilber.
Good night, then, and Merry Christmas.
Enough of all this Merry Christmas. Humbug.
Scrooge locked the door, took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown, slippers, and nightcap, and crouched before the dismal fire. He was almost asleep when the soft ringing of a disused bell awoke him, followed by the loud ringing of every bell in the house. This sound could have lasted a minute or maybe an hour, but the bells ceased as they had begun, together. They were succeeded by a clanking noise, the sound of chains dragged across the floor.
Goodness! What's that? Well, it's a humbug still. I won't believe it.
But in the light from the dying fire he saw the spectre, Marley, in his usual waistcoat, tights, and boots, the same hair upon his head, and the chain he drew was clasped around his middle and wound about him like a tail made of padlocks, keys, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses made in steel.
And now, what do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
Well, do it then.
You don't believe in me?
No, I don't.
You can see me, do you doubt your eyes?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt what you can see?
Because you could be a bad dream. A queasy stomach, an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumble of cheese, a bit of underdone potato. All of these can give one nightmares. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. See this toothpick? If I swallow it, I'll suffer stomach aches. All of my own doing. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug! Oh, no, mercy, dreadful apparition. Why do you trouble me?
Man of the living world, do you believe in me or not?
Well, I do, I must. But why do spirits walk the earth, and why do you come to me?
It is required of everyone that in this life they move among all kinds of people, helping those in need, spreading happiness where they can. If they have not thought of others while alive, they are doomed to travel endlessly after death, seeing all that they could have done, the happiness they could have spread, but were too selfish to share.
You were chained. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. By my greed and selfishness, I made it link by link, yard by yard. Can you guess the weight and length of the chain you wear yourself? It was as heavy and long as mine 7 years ago. You have worked on it since. It is a dreadful chain.
Jacob, oh Jacob, Marley, tell me more. Comfort me, Jacob.
I cannot. Comfort comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge. Nor can I tell you everything I would. A very little time is left to me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. In life I never walked far from my counting house, and now weary journeys lie ahead.
You must have been very slow, Jacob.
Slow?
7 years dead and travelling all the time.
The whole time. No rest. No peace. Travelling.
You travel fast?
On the wings of the wind.
Oh, you must have covered many miles in 7 years.
Oh, dreadful chains! How did I not know that life was short and opportunities for good were missed? But that was me, yes, that was me.
Oh, you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business! People were my business. Charity, mercy, and kindness were all my business. My work was just a drop in the ocean of my business. At this time of year I feel it most. Why did I walk through the crowds with my eyes turned down? Did I not see the poor, the needy? Listen to me, my time is nearly gone.
I will, but don't be hard on me, Jacob, please.
How is it that you can see me? I cannot tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day. That is no small part of my penance. I am here tonight to warn you that you have still a chance of hope of escaping my fate, Ebenezer.
Oh, you are always a good friend to me, Jacob. Thank you.
Hear me! You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to escape the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Well, couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the night, and the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night when the last stroke of midnight ceases to vibrate. Look to see me no more, no more.
Scrooge remains dazed for a while, then recovers.
Bah, humbug.
I wander as I wander out under the sky, how Jesus the Savior did come for to die, for poor ordinary people like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky.
The air is full of cries and sighs. Scrooge finally settles down. For a moment, there is silence. Then, on the stroke of 1, a flash of light. Scrooge sits up in horror and gazes at the ghost of Christmas past.
Are you the spirit that I was told about?
I am.
Well, who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
Well, what then? What do you want me of me?
Well, rise and walk with me.
Well, I'm human. I would likely fall.
Oh, no, my hand will support you.
Together they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with fields on either side. It was a clear, cold winter's day with snow upon the ground.
Look there. What do you see?
Good heavens, my old school. I lived in this place. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. What is that upon your cheek?
It's nothing.
You remember this place?
Remember it. How could I forget?
These are just shadows of things that have been. They have no knowledge of us. Look.
The school. A dreary, vast and cold place.
The school is not quite deserted on this Christmas. A lonely child, neglected by his friends, is still here.
Although I remember the chilly bareness of the place, getting up by candlelight, not too much to eat. Oh, what a sad and lonely boy I was. Poor boy. I wish, but it's too late now.
Oh, what is the matter?
Nothing. There was a boy singing Christmas carols at my door last night. I wish I'd given him something, that's all.
But look further.
A little girl runs in, covers the boy's eyes with her hands. He turns round, exclaiming,
Little Fan.
I have come to bring you home, dear brother.
Home, Little Fan?
Yes, home. For good and all. Home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home is like heaven.
How is this possible?
He spoke to me so gently one night. When I was going to bed, I was not afraid to ask once more if you might come home. And he said yes. He sent me in a coach to fetch you. You are never to come back here. But first, we are to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest of time in the world.
You're quite a woman, Little Fan.
She was always a delicate creature that a breath of wind might have blown away. But she had a large heart.
So she had, you're right. God bless her.
She died a woman and had, I think, one child.
Yes, my nephew, Fred.
But come, we must go on.
Within minutes, the school was behind them, and they were in the busy streets of a city. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door.
The boar's head in Canberra be decked with bays and rosemary, and I pray you, my masters, be merry, quod estis in convivio. Caput opere de ferro, redens laudes Domino.
Do you know this place?
Know it? I was apprenticed here. Why, it's old Mr. Fezziwig. Oh, bless his heart. It's Fezziwig alive again.
The boar's head, as I understand, is the bravest dish in all the land. Will not be decked with a gay garland. Let us servire cantico. Caput opere de ferro, redens laudes Domino.
Yo, ho there, Ebenezer, Dick.
Dick Wilkins, to be sure, bless me, yes. There he is. Oh, he was a good friend of mine, was Dick. Poor Dick. Oh, dear, dear.
Yo, my boys, no more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up before a man can say Jack Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Hilly-ho, clear away, my lads, and let's have lots of room here. Hilly-ho, Dick. Cheer up, Ebenezer. Let's make merry. Come along, Mrs. Fezziwig, do, and bring in the young ladies.
And here are the young ladies.
Ah, my dears, charming, charming. Good evening, Miss Bell. So glad you could come.
And Lucy, you know Dick.
Good evening, good evening. Now the party can begin.
Ebenezer.
Belle, how pretty you are.
And we, Mrs. Fezziwig, shall have a famous little dance together.
Go on with you.
Oh, Miss Fezziwig, you positively glow.
I'm sure you shouldn't say so, Master Wilkins.
Come on, Ebenezer. I'm sure you know this one.
I'll have a go, Miss Belle.
After the dance, there is wine and punch, and plenty of beer.
Don't forget the great piece of roast beef and ham and mince pies.
After the dance, my dear, after the dance. Take your partners. May I have the pleasure, my dear?
Our steward hath provided this in honor of the King of Bliss, which on this day to be served is in rage and sia trio.
Caput opere defero, redens laudes Domino.
Look at him go! What a jolly party!
A small matter to make silly folk full of gratitude.
Small? He was a great fellow, was old Fezziwig.
Why, he spent a few pounds on the party. 3 or 4, perhaps. For this, does he deserve so much praise?
No, it wasn't that, Spirit. He had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our work pleasant or unpleasant. His power lay in words or looks. The happiness he gave was as great as if it cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing in particular.
Something, I think.
It's just that I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now, that's all.
My time grows short. Look.
Again, Scrooge saw himself, older now, in the prime of life, but his face already had the signs of care and avarice. His eyes had a greedy, restless look.
It matters little, to you very little. The love of money has replaced me. If it can make you happy, as I would have tried to do, I have no reason to be sad.
Money has replaced you.
Yes, indeed.
You are not fair to me. There is nothing in the world so hard as to be poor, and yet people criticize one for trying to be rich.
You worry too much what people think, Ebenezer. You have forgotten the good that you used to work for. Now all you can think of is money, and how to make more and more of it.
What then? Even if I have become a serious businessman, I have not changed towards you, Belle, have I?
Our engagement is an old one, made when we were both poor, and happy to be so, until in time we could improve our fortune with hard work. You are changed. When we made our promises, you were another man.
I was a boy.
You know very well that you think differently today. We cannot be happy when we no longer think alike. I have thought of this long and often, and it saddens me deeply. But I release you.
Have I ever asked to be released?
In words, no, never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. In everything that made my love important to you. Tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now?
You think not?
I would gladly think otherwise. If I could. Heaven knows I would. But if you were free today, tomorrow can I believe that you would choose a poor, dowerless girl like me? You who weigh everything by gain. I release you, with a sad heart for the love of him that you once were. May you be happy in the life that you have chosen.
Observe now what might have been.
Spirit, show me no more. Take me home. Why do you delight to torture me? I cannot bear it. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Scrooge had barely time to reel into bed before he sank into a heavy sleep. Scrooge is asleep. At the strike of 1, Scrooge awakens in the middle of a prodigiously tough snore. He sits up in bed to hear a strange voice.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsions and learnt a lesson that's working now. Tonight, if you have anything to teach me, let me learn by it.
Touch my robe.
They move into the street where everything is full of Christmas cheer. Bells ringing, people going to church, people hurrying home with baskets of food and flowers, people scraping the snowy pavements, everywhere shouting and laughing.
Now what do you see?
Ole, mistletoe! Have a Christmas kiss under the mistletoe!
Old Joe!
I see Christmas and gaiety, cheer everywhere, stores lighted up. Holly, mistletoe.
I could do with a Christmas kiss.
Go on with you then.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la.
In the street, people greet each other. Mrs. Dilber and old Joe bump into each other, dropping parcels.
Mrs. Dilber.
Hey, watch out, will you?
Look where you're going. Look what you've done.
Blame it on me, would you? It was you.
But Christmas Present quietly points at them.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Dilber, I'm sure.
Not at all, not at all. No harm done. Merry Christmas.
Here, have yourself a sprig of holly. Merry Christmas.
You did that.
Oh, it's a shame to quarrel on Christmas Day.
They continued on their way till they reached Bob Cratchit's house, where Mrs. Cratchit and her family were getting ready for Christmas dinner.
Do you know whose home this is?
Why, yes, this is where Bob Cratchit lives with his family. Look, Spirit, how happy they seem decorating their humble home.
Whatever has gotten into your precious father, then?
How's the pudding, Mother?
Fairly singing in the pot it is, and Peter has set to mashing the potatoes, the dear.
And there's such a goose. There's Father now, with Tiny Tim.
Father!
There were such a lot of people in church today.
Never mind, so long as you are come at last. Sit ye down before the fire, my dear, and have a warm God bless you. And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold.
What do you think of our work, Father?
Very pretty, my dears. Very pretty, I'm sure. Now, a bit of Christmas cheer, my dears. Where is Peter?
I was looking after the goose.
I think I could smell it all the way here.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us. Everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see an empty seat by the fireplace, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No. Kind Spirit, say he will be spared.
What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children. It's Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, on which one drinks to the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. Well, you know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear, Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I've no doubt.
Time for the goose.
Hooray!
Enough. We must go on.
Once again, the ghost led Scrooge through the snowy streets, now dark and chill, peopled only by the homeless, cold, hungry, and lost.
Who are these?
The unlucky, the forgotten ones.
Have they no shelter? No food?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? But hark, the time is drawing near. Let us go further.
It was a great surprise to Scrooge to ponder the loneliness of these poor souls, when all of a sudden he heard a hearty laugh and found himself standing by the Spirit looking at his own nephew, who in the midst of a party was conducting his friends in some carol singing.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily the sky is riven with angels singing. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Ding ding time, your matin chime ye ringers. May you beautifully rhyme your eve-time song, ye singers. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis.
Now that's got us into the Christmas spirit.
Do you think we should sing for your Uncle Scrooge, Fred?
He said Christmas was a humbug, truly. He believed it, too.
More shame on him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth. And not as pleasant as he might be, which means that he has no friends. But I have nothing to say against him.
Bless him.
I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He don't make himself comfortable with it, and he hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he might leave us with some of it.
Oh, I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers from his bad temper? Himself, always. He decided to dislike us, and he won't come to dinner with us. What's the consequence? He won't miss much of a dinner.
It was an excellent dinner, if I might say.
I should say so. It was delicious.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it. I haven't much faith in these young housekeepers. What do you say, Topper?
On the contrary,
Oh, come now, Fred. It was a wonderful dinner. I could tell Master Toby enjoyed it.
So I did, Miss Phoebe, and not afraid to say so. Your Uncle Scrooge certainly missed one of the best dinners in the city this Christmas.
Thank you, Toby. You're a dear.
Well, I'm sure that if I keep asking, one year he'll join us.
I wouldn't count on that, Fred dear.
Seems a bit unlikely.
Don't laugh. Year by year, I'm getting closer to my aim. I think I shook him yesterday. No, really. If it only makes him leave his poor clerk £50, that would be something.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
Enough.
How about a game of how, where, and when?
Better yet, forfeits.
No, sir.
Well, how about yes and no?
That's a good game.
Yes. Oh, come on, Carolyn, you go first.
All right, let me think. All right, begin.
Are you a vegetable?
No.
An animal?
Yes.
A large animal?
No.
A bird, perhaps.
Yes.
Aha, a goose.
Fred, how unkind. No.
Well, are you a Christmas bird?
Yes.
A turkey. Try a turkey.
I've got it. I bet you're a partridge.
You're right. The partridge in a pear tree.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Indeed.
It's your turn now, Fred.
I'm ready.
Are you an animal?
Yes.
A nice animal?
No.
A savage animal.
Why, yes.
Oh, an animal that growls?
Sometimes.
Does it live in London?
As a matter of fact, it does.
Does it live in a menagerie?
Is it led by anyone?
No.
So it can't be a dog or a horse or a donkey.
It growls, remember? Horses don't growl.
Neither do cats or cows. Oh, tigers growl.
But a tiger in London.
I know what it is, Fred, I know.
Well then, Miss Emma, what is it?
It's your uncle, Scrooge.
It certainly is.
You are clever.
Uncle Scrooge. Oh, that's a good one.
He has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. I say Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man wherever he is. He wouldn't take my wishes, but he can have them all the same. Merry Christmas!
And a Merry Christmas to you too, Fred.
Come, my time is up.
Pity. I would have loved to join in their merry games.
I have no more time to give, but another comes.
The clock struck 12. Scrooge looked about for the ghost and saw it not. On the last stroke he remembered the prediction of Jacob Marley, and lifting his eyes, saw a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like the mist along the ground towards him.
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You are about to show me the shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the future. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spirit I have seen. Will you not speak to me? Oh, lead on. Lead on.
The ghost led Scrooge through the darkened city streets and stopped before a group gossiping on the pavement.
Now, I don't know much about it. I only know that he is dead.
Well, when did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
Hey, Mrs. Dilber, old Scratch has got his own at last, eh?
Went last night he did.
What's he done with all his money?
Oh, I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. Hasn't left it to me. That's all I know.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for upon my life, I don't know anybody who would go to it.
Well, I'd offer to go if anybody else will. Come to think of it, I'm not at all sure I wasn't his very special friend. We used to stop and speak each time we met.
Oh, he was a mean old devil, he was. Why should anybody go?
Brr, cold, isn't it?
Seasonable for this time of year.
Well, I'm off. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Who is the man they speak of, Spirit? They do not seem to feel a loss.
The ghost points to a dark place, representing a dirty shop. Mrs. Dilber has a bundle of possessions to sell.
Here's a chance, old Joe.
Well then, Mrs. Dilber, what have you got then? Every person has a right to look out for themselves. He always did.
That's true enough. No man more so.
Who's worse off for losing a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, the wicked old screw, why wasn't he nicer in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had someone to look after him when he was dying, instead of lying there all alone.
That's the truest words you ever spoke, Mrs. Dilber. It's a judgment on him, so it is. Let's have a look then.
I wish there was a bit more, and there would have been if I could have grabbed anything else. Open the bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. Be honest now.
I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I ruin myself. But we should stick together, I reckon. What do you call this then? Bed curtains?
Ah, bed curtains.
You don't mean to say you took them down, rings and all, and him lying there?
Yes, I did. And why not?
You were born to make your fortune, Mrs. Dilber. Yes, indeed.
Well, I certainly won't hold back for the sake of a man like him. I promise you that, Joe. Ooh, don't dirty that blanket now.
His blanket?
Whose else would it be? He ain't likely to catch cold without it, I say.
Here's your money. Now, don't spend it all at once now. He frightened away everyone from him when he was alive to profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, it's with horror that I witness this. I can see that this unhappy man could be me. Is there nobody who's saddened by this man's death? Show me that person, Spirit, I beg you.
The phantom spread its dark robe before him for a moment like a wing, and withdrawing it revealed a room by daylight where a young woman paced up and down, obviously waiting for someone.
What news, Fred? Is it good or bad?
Bad.
We are quite ruined?
No, there is still hope, love.
If he relents, there is. There is still hope if such a miracle occurs.
He is past relenting. He is dead.
Dead? God forgive me, but his death comes as a blessing for us.
What his old servant woman told me last night when I tried to visit him turns out to be true. He was not only very ill then, but dying.
What will happen now? To whom will our debt be transferred?
I don't know, but we can sleep with lighter hearts tonight.
Spirit, let me see some tenderness connected with a death.
The ghost conducted him through familiar streets till they reached poor Bob Cratchit's house and found the mother and children seated round the fire. All was quiet, very quiet.
And he took a child and set him in the midst of them.
The candlelight smarts my eyes, and I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he comes home for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it, rather. But I think he's walked a little slower than he used to these last few evenings, Mother.
I have known him to walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, very fast indeed.
But Tim was very light to carry.
And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble. And there's Father at the door.
Father, come in and get warm. Don't mind it, Father. Don't be sad.
I wish you could have seen how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him that I would walk there on a Sunday. I met Mr. Scrooge's nephew in the street today. Seeing that I looked a little down, he stopped me and asked me what happened to distress me, so I told him. He really is the pleasantest gentleman. I'm heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit, he said, and heartily sorry for your good wife. Though how he knew that, I don't know.
Knew what, my dear?
Why, that you are a good wife.
Everyone knows that.
Well said, my boy. Well said. I hope they do. Heartily sorry for your good wife. If I can help you in any way, he said, giving me his card. That's where I live. Please come to me.
How kind he is.
Now, it wasn't for the sake of anything he could do for us, but for his kind way that made this quite delightful. It seemed to me as if he had known our Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he is a good man.
You would be surer of it, my dear, if you saw and spoke with him. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he didn't find Peter a better position.
Listen to that, Peter.
And one day Peter will be walking out with someone and setting up a house for himself.
Get along with you.
There's plenty of time for that, my dear. But however and whenever we part from one another, I'm sure none of us will forget Tiny Tim or this first parting among us.
No,
No,
never,
Father, never.
Spirit, something tells me that we're about to part. Kind spirit, tell me the name of that unfortunate dead man.
The spirit points and leads the way. They reach a graveyard.
Let me see what I will be in days to come. Where do you point this way? This way leads to my house.
The ghost points again. A light shines on a gravestone.
Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? The way that a man lives will determine his end, no doubt, but if he should change his ways, his end would change too. Is that not so? Oh, tell me, I beg you.
The ghost points once again to the grave. Fearfully, Scrooge steps closer.
My name! My name is on the stone! Am I the man whose death they welcomed, over whose possessions they gloated? No, Spirit, no, Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was. Why show me this as if I was past all hope? Good Spirit, pity me. Tell me that I can still change these shadows that you have shown me by living a better life. I will celebrate Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year round. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three will guide me. Oh, tell me I can wipe away the writing on this stone.
Scrooge held up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, and saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrank, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. Yes, the bedpost was his own, the bed was his own, and the room was his own.
I'm not dead. I live. Old Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob. The curtains are not torn down. They're there, rings and all. And my blanket, it is here. I am here. All the shadows of the things that would have been may never come. No, they will not. No, I know they will not. Hello there! I don't know what month it is. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. Never mind, I don't care.
Past 3 o'clock and a cold frosty morning. Past 3 o'clock. Good morrow, masters all.
Born is a baby, gentle as may be, Son of the eternal Father supernal.
Past 3 o'clock and a cold frosty morning. Past 3 o'clock. Good morrow, masters all.
Seraph choir singeth, angel bell ringeth, hark how they rhyme it, time it and chime it.
Past 3 o'clock and a cold frosty morning. Past 3 o'clock. Good morrow, masters all.
Mid-earth rejoices, hearing such voices, ne'er tofore so well caroling Noel.
Past 3 o'clock and a cold frosty morning. Past 3 o'clock. Good morrow, masters all.
Light out of starland, leading from far land, princes to meet him, worship and greet him.
Past 3 o'clock and a cold frosty morning. Past 3 o'clock. Good morrow, masters all.
Hello there, young man. What day is this?
Eh?
What's the day, my fine fellow?
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir.
Christmas Day? I haven't missed it. The spirits must have worked through the night. Heaven be praised. Thank you, kind spirits. Hello, my fine fellow.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the poulterers in the street next but one at the corner?
Well, I should hope I do.
An intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. Do you know if they've sold the big price turkey that was hanging up there?
What, the one as big as me?
Delightful boy, it's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my man.
Well, it's hanging up there now.
Is it? Well, go buy it.
Coo.
No, I mean it. Here's sixpence for your trouble. Tell them Mr. Scrooge wants them to send the turkey to this address, name of Cratchit. Here, I'll write it down. They shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Oh, they'd better take a cab. I'm paying for everything.
Right-ho, Governor.
Merry Christmas! I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And I know I don't know anything. All on a Christmas morning.
Are you quite yourself, sir?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. I'm so happy I must do something. I must stand on my head. I'm not mad, Mrs. Dilber. I've not lost my senses. I've come to them. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Dilber. Here's a guinea, a Christmas present for you.
A Christmas present for me?
Of course for you. How much do I pay you?
2 shillings a week,
Oh,
sir.
raised immediately to 10 shillings a week. Now, run along like a good girl and have a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge dressed himself all in his best, and at last got out into the street, where he catches sight of the collector.
Madam! Oh, my dear madam, how do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. Yours is indeed a worthy task. Merry Christmas to you, madam.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that's my name. I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness of...
Oh, my goodness! My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious? Such generosity!
Oh, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me a favour?
My dear sir, I don't know what to say to such a large donation.
Don't say anything, please. Come and see me, will you?
I will indeed.
Thank you. I'm much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you and a Merry Christmas.
And to you, Mr. Scrooge. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge continued on his way. He went to church and walked about, patted children on the head, gave pennies to beggars, and looked in the windows at happy families celebrating Christmas, until he came to his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times, until he had the courage to go up and knock.
Fred?
Why, bless my soul. Who's that?
It's me, your Uncle Scrooge. I've come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred?
Let him in? It's a mercy he didn't shake his hand off. Scrooge was at home in 5 minutes. It was a wonderful party, with wonderful games and wonderful happiness.
Here we come a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. We are not daily beggars that beg from door to door, but we are neighbors' children whom you have seen before. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Good master and good mistress, as you sit by the fire, pray think of us poor children who wander in the mire. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. God bless the master of this house, likewise the mistress too, and all the little children that round the table go. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year.
Scrooge had to be at the office early the next day, in the hope of catching Bob Cratchit coming in late.
9 o'clock, no Bob. 1:15, no Bob. 18 minutes past.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, what do you mean coming in at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
Yes, I think you are. Step this way, sir, if you please, sir.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Now, I'll tell you, my friend, I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I am about to raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I've given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and we'll discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop, Bob. Make up the fires. Buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Scrooge was as good as his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he became a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man did. May that be truly said of us, all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us, everyone.
Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year.
You have been listening to Northumberland Players' outreach programme of A Christmas Carol. All the characters were played by Matt Blundell, Mary Doig, Kaylee Harper, Marg Kopf, Don Mann, Emily Martin, Star Olsen, Sharon Rathbone, Bryce Sage, Anna Sylvester, and Chris Worsnop. The a cappella quartet consisted of Abby Corkery, Grant Coward, Christine Sharp, and Christopher Sharp. Thank you for listening, and a very Merry Christmas.